Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And guys, today we want to talk about the Krypton episode 1 trailer that we recently got. And this show, Krypton, I was always interested in Krypton and the story of Krypton. And I knew that this would be a show I was interested in, as I'm interested in the Superman mythos. Didn't know quite how well it would do, but I thought at the very least, as it's being aired on the Syfy channel, it would be entertaining and one of these standard Syfy channel shows. However, uh, there has been some new developments, new information released about the Krypton show, which I think is going to make it a really good show. And that is because one concern about the Krypton show was that generally people have a very difficult time focusing on a show about Superman without Superman in it. And there have, been new information released that this show isn't going to be quite like we thought it was going to be. In fact, the route that's going to be taken with this show is it will be more like the Terminator movies, the Sarah Connor, John Connor type premise to the show, where actually this is a plot to actually time travel back to kill Superman before he's born and can do all these great things. Now I don't know if that was originally what the what the show was going to be about. I don't know if it was some last minute changes made, but whatever the case may be, I do like the new development or the new information released about what we're going to get with this show. I think that works quite well. But there's more. In addition to that, we're also going to get a lot of characters in the DC universe that are going to show up on Krypton. Characters that we know that exist out in outer space and on these worlds that Krypton speaks about. Even like in the original Superman movies, we hear the voice of Jor-El talk about the 28 known galaxies and races of beings. But some of these beings are going to be showing up on Krypton. We do get to see, it looks like a member of the Legion of superheroes that can time travel back and forth. They're from the future, and they seem to be warning Seg-El, Superman's grandfather, about what's going to happen, that there are people time traveling to try and kill Superman. So he's aware of everything that's going on with Superman, and I would imagine from that point he's going to do the necessary things to protect Superman and to make sure that history goes on to create the future in which we understand we'll get with Superman. So I find all that very exciting. But in addition to that, there have been some mentions online across the internet that we may get to see the Green Lantern Corps show up. Maybe some interactions with them, as well as Hawkman and Hawkgirl and various people like that. And Rob, that all sounds excellent. That sounds great. Also, what we got to see in this trailer is we get to see Superman's, or rather, Superman's grandfather's grandfather. He's wearing the what appears to be Superman's suit that he will later wear in the future. And that's the red cape with the red cloak and the blue. And I'm not really sure, where that color comes from. As I understood in some of the comics, the cape was used from some of these cloths, the swaddling cloths that the baby Kal-El had in his spaceship, and that was used to make the suit. But it's been many changes to the with how he gets the suit in the Man of Steel movies. It seems to be this seems to maybe be going more in line with that, where some of the older generations of Kryptonians would wear these capes and would wear costumes such as this, or suits like this, and as we got to see in Man of Steel, was just kind of one in the ship, and I was a little bit irked by that. I wanted an explanation as to why that particular looking suit was there. Was that just something Kryptonians wore? But this is interesting. We actually do see a Kryptonian wearing a suit that looks similar to what Superman wore, and he seems to be standing trial for something, or having an audience with someone. And I'm not exactly sure what that's all about, but it will be interesting if they give us an explanation as to why he's wearing this, what's the significance of it, why Superman's wearing a similar looking suit like this in the future. And that will really be good to hear some type of explanation, or as to why that's going on. This appears to be Seg-El as a kid standing next to his grandfather. And what's very interesting is Seg-El is supposed to pretty much discover the Phantom. Discover the Phantom Zone. And of course, later on we understand that his son, who will be Jor-El, really is able to use the Phantom Zone. But if memory serves me correctly, Seg-El will create the Phantom or find the Phantom Zone, and so the House of El will have this basically this control and understanding of how to use the Phantom Zone. And this is, of course, where we know where Zod gets in prison, and where everybody's, and the Krypton's most infamous criminals and the worst of the worst are sent to the Phantom Zone. And we got to see in the Man of Steel movie, it's actually what saved them. Also very important to note, as mentioned earlier in some of my reviews about the Krypton, is that, of course, this is David S. Goyer, who's written this show. And he's also, responsible for Man of Steel. So we can see a lot of similar looking. The world looks very similar to what we saw Krypton look like in Man of Steel. There are some differences. This would be taking place about 200 years before Superman's birth. So this is going back in time there. But the only thing that kind of bothered me about the trailer is we got to see, with the Legion character, I believe he's time traveling. I believe that might be the Atom, or that might be the Adam Strange character, right? Some people speculate. But, he's holding this Superman costume in his hand, like his cloak. And the cloak looks more like what we see in like the Chris Reeves version of Superman, maybe some of these other versions. And I just kind of found that a little bit odd, that the rest of the world looks so much like Krypton from Man of Steel, and then these costumes kind of look, they kind of look like more like the traditional type version of Superman we've seen, whether it been the Chris Reeves or the Brandon Routh portrayal of Superman, or even like the Superman from Supergirl, and not like the Man of Steel. So maybe they did that on purpose, so it wouldn't be any kind of problems with Warner Brothers or whatnot. But again, we can see that this clearly looks like the suit Superman's great grandfather is wearing, that Superman is wearing Krypton. these strange, I believe these might be some kind of centurions or robots. I keep seeing these appear in the trailers as well. And this force that may be coming for Superman. A lot of us are speculating it's Brainiac because there's a strange ship in the trailer, and it looks like it has these tentacle type things, and that might be Brainiac. So a lot of us think that, but again, guys, I'm very excited about this show. I'm big into the Superman mythos, and I like the changes. I think that's going to make for a much more interesting show because at the very least, I was thinking this would make a good science fiction TV show, and it's just kind of based on the world of Superman. But they are delving a lot deeper than that. This storyline is about Superman. It's just a different retelling. We may even get to see Superman or some version of Superman throughout the series as, if I'm not mistaken, the show may time hop. This is obviously is taking place in the past, 200 years in the past, but they're going to be time jumps, if I understand correctly, in different scenes of what's going on in the present day and what's going on. So it may be moving back and forth, in how the show's done. So that will be very, very interesting to see all of this take place. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with this show, guys. If you're a Superman fan, tell me what you think. Tell me, given the new information, are you a little bit more excited about Krypton? Guys, if you like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.